So it's finally happening. Ghislaine Maxwell is going to commit suicide. Apparently, I saw this article, I think earlier today, and she's ready to talk and ready to say about Clinton's involvement in Pedo Island. So, don't expect her to be in this world much longer. And like I said, that boggles me because I can't see how this isn't something all sides can get behind. But for some reason, it's just being ignored because, the government's like, hey, look at the jingling keys over here. Hey, look at this. Ukraine, right? Ukraine, gas prices. Don't look over there. You don't want to see all that. You don't want to see our names on that list of young girls we were trafficking. I mean, shit. CIA used to trafficking cocaine and heroin to pay for wars. Think they're not going to traffic young girls? I mean, big money, I guess. But, that doesn't have to do with any kind of like social justice for some reason. So it's just not an important thing. But she's sentenced to be convicted on June 28th after being, I talked to somebody actually. Here's the creepy thing about this, is I actually talked to somebody who, this is like third-hand information at my point, but I was talking to somebody whose friend or family works in that prison where, Epstein killed himself and where she is being held now. And, they have to listen to all the phone calls because, everything is recorded in and out of prison. And he says all she does is shit on America and how this would never have happened if she was back in her country. And, basically usual, I guess, psychopathic behavior where nothing is her fault and what she was doing was perfectly fine. And, if she was back home where she has more clout, she would be walking free, which is probably true. Being that her dad was like part of the Israeli CIA, he was a British spy, and then he was a massive media mogul of what we would consider like CNN. So, I don't doubt you'll find Zucker's name on any of those lists pretty soon. If not, what the hell is that bald rodent who works there too? I can't remember his name. That pedo. Stelter. Stelter Felter. So I'm going to give this about a week and she's dead. Somehow she'll have killed herself with something weird, a spring from her mattress, or slit her wrists with something, busted tampon container. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. They'll make it happen. This goblin on the right here will see to it. So, well, that's just that news. I'd love to see just something. You know what I mean? Just something. Is the YouTube? Oh, there it goes. Here, please use keyframe. I don't know. I'm still getting the hang of this. Oh, look at Mitch McConnell. What a goblin. I've been saying this forever. With everything going on with the gun control and, something that I am staunchly against is the idea of the red flag laws because it's just so easily something that could be abused. And that's just me. Your neighbor doesn't like you. He can just call the cops. They take your guns. Proponents of the red flag laws will say something like, oh, well, you get them back as long as there's nothing wrong. Yeah, well, they'll always find something wrong. Like, they will always find something wrong. There'll be a delay. How often does the fucking police department or FBI or whatever just lose evidence, that your guns will just be gone? And they don't have to give it back to you. It happens all the time. There's huge cases of the police just basically confiscating things as evidence, cars, boats, whatever. Then you don't ever get it back because it's lost. They don't have to actually give it back. The bags of money. I remember there was a story of a guy who was going to deposit a huge bag of cash from something, and the police basically confiscated it, and he never got it back. It was just lost. They didn't even really have a reason. It was just confiscated. So, think about that. Your neighbor calls the cops because you get into an argument, or, he borrowed your lawnmower, didn't give it back. Now you want it back. You get into an argument with him over it. He knows that you have guns. All of a sudden your guns are taken. Your permit gets taken. You get irate over that. Then you don't get them back at all. It it's really just a slippery slope turning into North Korea where you're just tattling on people you don't like. Um, but I don't understand why this. I've never liked McConnell. Why this turtling little man who's obviously got connections with the CCP, got like a CCP wife. I remember there was those photos and videos of him floating around like a year or two ago. Basically, somebody looked like somebody kicked the shit out of him. So Lord knows he's probably being threatened too. And why he's, and I've been saying this forever, that the Republican Democrat thing is, it's going to go away. They're going to become a uniparty. They've been working towards it forever. And it's basically going to be like a signing off to where it's going to turn into the, Star Wars fucking Republic, or the Empire from the Republic. It's just going to become the Empire. It's just a matter of time. Fucking people. I don't understand. There was like 20 something, I think. I think the vote on it with Congress was like 60 to 30 or something. 63 to 30. I don't remember earlier, but I think I have it on my site. But no, I guess I don't. But then everybody is happy that I guess the Supreme Court in SCOTUS decided to side with the Second Amendment against some laws in New York. And everyone thinks that's a win, but I don't think so. Because in the grand scheme of things, if they say things that the other side doesn't like, the other side's already proven that they're going to go out there and burn and loot and terrorize and attack and do whatever they can because they feel like they have impunity. And they have impunity at this point because basically the center and right give it to them. The normal people give it to them. We sit back and we go, well, I mean, I don't want them to come for me. I mean, I don't want to lose my blah, blah, blah. But it really is a matter of time. I saw this amazing video, actually. Let me see if I can bring it up. Where in Italy, people finally got out of their cars and fucking basically beat down well, they didn't beat them down, but the motorists got so mad that these protesters were blocking traffic, and it was some bullshit Green Party protesters, that they just fucking, there we go. That they were just pulled off the road by the motorists. Oh, it was amazing. Amazing. I'll never forget, years ago, I went into a tirade during the BLM marches and stuff like that. Because they tried to do it around me. And I remember I left to go to like Lowe's or Home Depot for something. I was gone for like half an hour. By the time I got back on the highway going the original direction, it was just a complete parking lot because they felt like they were marching for George Floyd. Now, the grand scheme of things, you weren't making any, and most of these people were just retard Yaleys that have zero connection to anything. They, for some reason, just feel compelled because they're so fucking bored. Most of you Yaleys come from families with families with money. So if you really cared, there's the proverbial thing: give up your place in school, let your family pay for somebody who's less fortunate, but you won't because you're selfish, and everything that you do is for narcissism. Even this protesting that you have no idea about what you're protesting about. So I want. Oh wait, the video was there. The fuck. Hold on, let's bring it back. How come it wasn't? And okay, where are you? I mean, yeah, there it is. Oh, that's weird. Oh, these people are my hero. But I ended up basically yelling at all of them and screaming my brains out, and got the whole road screaming at them. And I was basically letting them know that you just irritated everybody that you were trying to get on your side. So not only did we not care at that point about the whole George Floyd thing, it was so far out of our minds. We, on top of that, wanted to mow every single one of them down and did not care if any of them perished. So this kind of shit doesn't work. Like, I don't know who thinks this works. Oh yeah, kick her ass, dude. That bitch needs a foot to the face. Here, let me go forward a little bit. Look at this fucking twink. Just getting yanked off. You know, at this point, people doing this shit should be hit. They should be hit. They should be mowed over. And then if the cops try and come and arrest the person that hit them, everybody should be backing that person because it's a highway. It's not a parking lot. It's not a sidewalk. It's a highway. You don't walk on it. You know, I should be able to mow right through them and then go, I didn't see him. Sun was in my eyes. Prove me wrong. You know, intent is everything. So, but everyone keeps thinking anyway. Going back to that, so that was a great symbol of what I was just talking about a second ago. Where, you know, great. They're going to be voting on a few other things. I guess Roe versus Wade, Roe versus Wade, and of course, if one side doesn't like the outcome, they're just going to go and, you know, camp out on people's front lawns or try to assassinate them and have bushels of money thrown at their case so they get off. But I'd hate to say it. I mean, we're letting it happen. So where are we to go on the lawn too and protest those protesters? And maybe we have to scare them away. You have a right to protest as well. You know, it may turn into a Charlottesville thing, but fuck it. You know, in fact, I just saw something earlier about the Charlottesville guy compared to some other. You know what? I'll post it on the site. I'll find the article and I'll post it on Fructose. So look there. But you know, we're slowly descending into this basically pre-World War II Nazi Germany. You know, where they just send their goons out. And everybody else just kept quiet because, you know, they didn't want to have people on their lawn. But fuck it. People show up on your lawn, throw water balloons full of bleach. You know? Go outside, act like you got spooked and shoot somebody. Just be like, oh my God, I didn't know he was there. No, didn't see all those people on my lawn. Just, you know, they startled me. They were on my property. I can stand my ground. That's why this shit doesn't happen in states like where I am or down in Texas or Florida and stuff like that. I mean, they know where they're going. And this, you know, this is like, I never understand states. Like, predominantly most states that agree certain ways. Like, if you want single payer health care, do it in your state. Make it happen. Bernie Sanders tried to do it and it fucking flopped. And the thing is, you always get the same fucking reason from these people. It's, well, there just wouldn't be enough money in it. Well, there wouldn't be enough money in it because there's just not enough money to fucking pay for it. Whether you have 10 people or 10 million people, you're still going to have the same fucking ratios. And you're going to have the same people not chipping in that aren't chipping in to begin with. So what the fuck is the point? You know, whether you do it with the whole world or whether you do it with anybody. Look at a lot of, you know, everyone thinks that it's going to be like healthcare in Sweden or Finland or some weird country like that with a population of like 200. It's not. It's just not. It wouldn't work here. And if it did work, more power to it. But you're not going to be able to do it on the same token when you've got caravans of 30,000 fucking people walking across the border every day. No skill, just going, gimme. You know? Who's going to keep paying for it? You can only tax Amazon so fucking much. Like, I swear to God. You know? It's like that. I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought now because I'm getting aggravated and kind of going into this cold. This is more of a test than anything to see how much I like doing this solo. I'm probably going to do one tomorrow with one of my other buddies that I used to do one with. And see how that, oh, this is another thing that's bugging the piss out of me. The gas holiday. I'm just going to predict this now. He wants to take away the federal, which is 18 cents. 18 cents isn't going to get it back to where it was fucking 2 years ago. You know? Or even a year ago. How do you fuck up so much stuff in so little time? And then be so oblivious to it. And then turn around and try and blame it's like victim shaming and victim blaming. It's like they're blaming that it's your fault that you can't afford the gas and you should be driving an electric vehicle. And then they're shaming you because you don't have one. But the simple matter of the fact is, you're still going to be in debt. If they really wanted the transition so badly, then these companies would be giving it to you. They wouldn't be making profits off of it. If that was the case, if all these companies were talking about going green and wanting to make the transition, you'd make it so goddamn affordable, I would have no qualms about it. But I just paid off a truck, and I'm not going to jump into another chunk of debt. You know what? Here's an idea. Why don't you give me a zero interest loan with a big fat rebate so I can go buy an electric pickup and maybe my monthly payments will be like $100? How's that? Does that seem fair? Because then I'll do it. You know, I'll fucking scrap my like 2-year-old truck. I don't give a shit. You know, just prove a point. But you won't. You have all these asshole billionaires sitting there talking about how the world's going to end in 10 years, like they've been saying for the last fucking 30 years. And, you know, we all have to jump on these green things that they obviously have money in, and they're going to make millions of billions of fucking dollars off of us doing. But they're not offering it up for nothing. I mean, you got fucking Bill Gates, who's worth, you know, billions and billions and billions. Don't act like you give a shit. This isn't about helping anybody. You're just convincing retards that they have moral high ground because they did it. And in the grand scheme of things, you're not helping anybody because regardless, you're just offsetting your emissions somewhere else. Like you're still going to the plant. And then how cheap, I've been saying this for forever, how cheap do you think electricity is going to stay? Like how cheap do you really think it's going to stay when everybody's doing it? It's like the proverbial, dial-up versus broadband. They used to be like the same price, and then as soon as dial-up went away, broadband now you fucking $200 a month for a decent well, no, not that much, but that's with some cable. I don't know who has cable anymore, but broadband minimum you're paying like $80 a month. On top of it, you start thinking about that. Let's say everybody got rid of their fossil fuels, which is an awful idea because you need competition back and forth. You really, really do, or else you're giving these enterprises their own. You're handing them a monopoly. It already sucks enough that you only get one electric provider in your area. Now you've just handed them every fucking thing. Everything that you need comes from them, and they can just probably decide like, nope, we don't want to serve you anymore. Oh, I can get solar panels. Okay, what the fuck is that going to do? You're going to spend $50,000 to also put in a battery system. Do you know how much damage digging for nickel, digging for copper, the plastics to create the batteries? You're still going to need the petroleum for that. So you're still damaging, doing all the damage to the earth that you would have anyway. And then on top of that, you're going to be in debt for that. So most people don't actually invest in getting battery systems. And then on top of that, even if you have solar panels and a battery system, 99% of the time they do not let you disconnect from the grid. So when everybody gets on solar, all that's going to happen is basically all the power companies are going to turn around and say, we're not going to give you credits anymore for what you're feeding back in. And then on top of that, we're going to make your service fee to your house about $200 a month. So they're going to get their money regardless. You're being shammed. It's filament to CFL to fucking LED. It's all it is. Constantly being scammed and being told that we have to do this to save the planet. No, we don't. You know what? You know what we would have to do to save the planet? Take all these people screaming that we have to get on solar and use electricity. Why don't you just make a fossil fuel alternative that will run in our regular vehicles? Years ago, they talked about having some kind of algae fuel. I know there were complications on, I guess, growing that much. I'm sure we can surpass those complications. If that's the case, I'll build a big old fucking water tank in my backyard, fill it with the algae, and then do that. But people just love the idea of handing over their decision making. That they're so inept today at making the most menial choices in their own lives that they're ready to just hand it all over and then just either be complacent or whine later when it's too late. I mean, it's the same thing as this. This is a horrible one that I found last week. Where is it? There it is. Lab cultured fake meat. So basically, there's another one about fucking the planet dying. It's apparently cows are killing the planet because I don't know, methane gas, CO that they emit. Who the fuck knows? It's nonsense. And on top of the fact of all the plants that are being lit on fire by random arsonists and Bill Gates buying up the land and everything like that. Now basically they just want to create meat in a tube. So they're going to drop some cells in, this is on fructose as well. They're going to drop some cells into a big tin and then basically just let meat grow. I don't really think I want to eat that, but again, everybody's just handing over the reins of society to them. So, Monsanto is evil. Monsanto is awful. Oh, well, you know what? We should all let Monsanto just make our meat in a giant tin, in a giant fermenting tin, like beer, because that seems safe. Again, let's give three companies the ability to control everything in our lives, And then on top of that, the country wants to enact things like a social credit score and, what do you call it? Like their own cryptocurrency. Basically, they want everything trackable from this, and then they want to be able to shut you down from this if they don't like you and they don't like what you're saying. And then if you see the way that the fucking Republicans and the rhinos are leaning over towards with the Democrats, it's going to become a uniparty. It's going to become a CCP style uniparty if we don't start recalling a lot of these people. And if we don't start making a lot of noise, because there's going to be a lot more cheating in these fucking elections. And yes, I do believe that. And now I just got my channel on YouTube banned. But fuck it. Don't care. Don't really care. Nothing else seems to work. Might as well what, William? Oh, I missed them. Well, hopefully he'll come back. You know what? I should have put this up on Gab, to be quite honest, to get some people in the chat. Yep, I like Gab. Banned off Twitter. Could have made an alternative Twitter account, but like I always say, it's their site. They can do what they want. I really don't care. I don't need it to survive. Oh, I wish I knew what William was talking about. So basically you're handing over all your energy needs to one company, and now you're going to hand over all your food to one company, and then you want the government to control health care, and you want, what else we got? Oh, education to be free and controlled by the government, because of course that would never lead to any kind of propaganda. And open borders so more and more people can be programmed. I'm going to throw this theory out that I came out with before too about this open borders. Like I said, when it comes to this transition to like an all electric world they want to create, and the need for these minerals and things that we're going to need for batteries and solar panels and all this stuff they want to do, they're going to be destroying swaths and swaths of land to get this. You obviously can't do it if people live on the land. So what's the best option? Well, we can't go in and displace anybody anymore, but what you can do is just invite them to come over to your land. You can say, hey, come on over here. And then once their spot's empty, company can go in and just basically dynamite anything they fucking want. So, I don't know, just a little thought I came up with. I guess I'm the next Alex Jones. Oh fuck, I'm itchy. But I lost it now. Oh, there it is. Burp. So this was an interesting article, and it actually goes into how they create the lab meat, and I guess one of the ways, or the way they culture the meat, is when a female bovine goes in for slaughter, if she's pregnant, they basically literally rip the fetus out, drain it of the blood because it's so embryonic and it's got so many stem cells, and then from there they kind of just feed the blood in the cells and just let it culture into a giant tumor that keeps on growing in a stainless steel bin. So you are basically just eating giant tumor meat. And I'm sure nothing about that is ever going to be unhealthy. We are literally being harvested. like I tell Doomer when me and him do these. You tell me that reptiles run this earth secretly, I can't dispute the fact. I honestly don't. And with the way everything's going, it just sounds so much more plausible than the fact that regular people are this fucking stupid and this gullible and or somehow this manipulative, like the elites, in this out of tune with everything. So the only thing that's plausible is yes, they've got to be. We are being run by raptor people, and they are just getting us ready for harvest. That's the only thing I can think of. Like we're all being put into a system now where they're gonna kind of like take care of us and hurt us, and then just cultivate us when they want. So, but whatever. I'm a crazy person. Oh fuck me. But read this if you get a chance. It's actually really, really interesting. Like I said, it's on fructose. And you know what? If you get some time, actually go there and this is 23K members. I'm not going to assume that all these are legit. I'm pretty sure quite a few are just bot accounts. I stay on top of it, and I eliminate the ones that get caught and delete the spam. So, but even if let's say 5,000 of these are legit, let's get some back and forth going on this thing. It'd be fun. I just do. Basically, I made this as an alternative. Like I told Noomer, I made this as an alternative to the sites that Twitter or Reddit or whatever. Doing the best that I can with it in the little tiny bit of time that I have. But so many people go onto these sites and complain that you're censored or you can't say what you want or blah blah blah. But like I said, I got banned from Twitter. It's their fucking site. Let them ban me. I don't give a shit. So I'll just do like the old American way. Go make my own. Take my ball and go home. But it's there. Prove that you don't like what you're using now. And even if it stinks or it's not as good at the moment, just use it. And you know what? If people use it and it actually starts accruing, because I don't make any money off of it. If anything, it's a net loss for me just to prove a point because I'm not much of an asshole. Why do you think I fucking wear this stupid thing? Because I'm a prick. That's the only reason. But it's there. It's there for everybody to use. Be belligerent. I don't care. Be belligerent towards me. And then if there's a way I can end up turning some kind of profit, I guarantee it will all go back into making this better. My dream is to actually turn this into almost like a Reddit or Twitter style clone. Probably not Twitter, more like maybe a Reddit, like a subforum style site where you can go in and make your own, kind of like Set It. Before I realized Set It was also just weird. So I don't think I finished talking about this, but this was Joe Biden's, the gas holiday. Yeah, so we just started talking about it, but then I didn't finish because the 18 whole cents you're going to save. So, but you know what is going to happen? There are fucking momos out there that are going to be like 18 cents. I got to get on this. People are going to be running out and they're going to create basically too much demand for the gas that we don't have a supply for. Because he's already stated he can't get the companies to drill more because they don't have anywhere to fucking drill because he broke all their leases that Trump made. Trump opened up all this land that people fucking bitched and whined and complained about, made us net energy, not only just self-sufficient, but we were a net exporter. And he stopped that for whatever reason. Oh, well, we're drilling on our land. Oh, really? I didn't fucking notice. No, literally, I didn't notice. I had zero idea. You know why? No fires broke out. No earthquakes happened. No nothing. And like I told one of my other buddies, when he complained about, but he was drilling on natural land. Who cares? Fuck it. You know what? I don't hear you bitching that we're over in fucking sand country blowing up other people's cities and shit so we can drill there. So what's the difference? It's fine when we go do it in another country, some other people, but we can't drill on our own? It doesn't make any sense. So this idiot stops their leases for everything. Can't drill here. We're not refining anything at the moment because, Putin's, locked us out, I don't know, whatever that is. And all that's going to happen is people are going to end up going and trying to mob the gas stations. There's going to be lines at the pumps. They're going to run out of fuel. They're not going to have any other supply to feed into it. And it's just going to create an artificial spike. We're going to have lines like, it was before my time, but lines like what I saw in videos and stuff from like the 70s. People lining up with gas cans and stuff. People are going to be showing up to these fucking pumps with 55-gallon drums in the back of their pickups. It's going to be fun when they try and drive away and the truck looks like a firecracker. I mean, that I'll surely enjoy. But it's still going to create an artificial high. And then you have our fucking town, our town, and our state, Dud Damont, who's running for re-election. He plays these fucking stupid gay commercials Oh my God. I want to make, hold on, Lamont re-election commercial. Makes me want to puke. Oh, puke in my mouth every time I see it. Let's see if I can. And so, what is it? He lowers the gas tax like a little tiny bit. I mean, we're the second fucking highest gas tax in the country. I mean, it should be lowered anyway. But then he increases the price of diesel, which everything in the fucking goddamn state ships with. So what's the difference? Well, we're saving at the pump now. I'm just paying more. I go buy fucking Walmart goddamn almond milk. My goddamn almond milk went up 40 fucking cents. All right? You know why? Because the cost of shipping it. The fucking cost of shipping it. I talk to these trucks at my business, not mine personally, but where I work, and even in mine, the fucking cost of the diesel has gone up. Places are paying like where their bills used to be $2,000 for the week. They're paying like $6,000 now. You know, this is insanity. But they're going to... All right, I can't fucking... I'm just a nerd. All right, you know what? I got to find this commercial, though. Run for re-election. It's got to be here somewhere. Let's just go to videos. Yeah, this is... Oh, this guy's such a fucking Keebler Elf looking piece of shit. He annoys me. Just looking at him talk. Ugh. And the stuff that he wanted to pass against fucking housing providers and property managers in this state. Just, good God. I'm in the lot and I approve this match. Fuck off, you turd. Ugh. All right. Where is it? Stefanowski. You know, I am going to volunteer for Stefanowski this year. We might talk about this a little bit tomorrow. Me and my buddies. You know what? Let's just go to old YouTube. I think I'm hogging up my own bandwidth. Ned Dumont. Oh, hold on, was that campaign ad? Oh, please find it. Please find it. Ned Lamont crime ad. Yeah, dork. Well. Because he's not putting it out there because he doesn't want to do fucking Ned Lamont's COVID failures. That's awesome. Yeah, let's just shut down everything. Is this it? Oh, it's 2018.
Connecticut. It's time.
Connecticut, it's time. I make cookies in a tree. Oh, well. Yeah, as anybody can see, I was really just kind of winging this tonight. Oh, and that's another thing. I hate cops. Fucking Beetlejuice looking weirdo. The other thing that I saw that happen this week that I was just dying about. Here, hold on. Actually, I have it here in mine. My profile. There we go. So the FDA forces all Juul products to be removed. So all vaping stuff, because we're attacking nicotine now, which is, I don't smoke, but if you want to smoke, knock yourself out. But what's the point of banning nicotine if you're going to try and make marijuana legal? It really doesn't make any sense to me. But this is the funny thing. In a statement Thursday, the FDA said the reason for the denial was that Juul failed to provide sufficient toxicology data to demonstrate their products were safe. Yet, for some reason, the FDA is letting children under 5 get the COVID vaccine. Very, very strange times we live in. It's like grown-ups, grown people can't decide that they want to vape. But we could shove unknown chemicals into children's arms. Good times. Good times. To me, look, you want to fucking smoke, knock yourself out. You want to burn your lungs, you do whatever you want. Same thing like anything else. It's your choice. Don't expect me to pay for it. You know, if you have health insurance and you your health insurance will pay for it, knock yourself out. But then if we go into something like a single payer system and we're all chipping in, no, I'm sorry. If I'm making decent choices and not frying my lungs, then you should just be living with the choices you make. You love tobacco that much, enjoy those nice coughs you get later. But we shouldn't be telling people they can't. I mean, if you're going to actually start supplying crack pipes to people in so many cities and giving people free, basically free meth and heroin because reasons, why are we telling people they can't smoke a cigarette? Like, it doesn't make any sense. This reminds me, let me see if I can find this. I always find it so, and I've been saying this forever, how similar the modern left is to Nazi Germany. Like, it's so crazy. I wish I could find some of the pictures. You know, I should post this. But the Nazis were huge into this shit. The Nazis were massive into anti-smoking. They were massive into telling you what you could and couldn't eat and things like that. To like health. The Nazi anti-smoking. Like, how do people not see? And not that I'm saying like Nazis are secretly running the world, but at the same time, we have things like the WEF now and all these like the WHO and things like that. Listen, if they see things that work, it's not like they're going to abandon it. So even if it was done by this party or by this, whatever you want to call them, regime, it's not like they're going to be like, well, we can't do this because they did it. No, they're going to fucking be like, hey, you know what? That worked. We're going to use that. But then how do people not see? Like the Nazis were huge into eugenics, which I'm not solely against, I guess I'd say. The Nazis were huge against food, like what kind of stuff you should and shouldn't eat. The Nazis were huge anti-smoking and healthcare. The Nazis actually were big in basically a single-payer healthcare system. The Nazis were very anti-capitalist and anti-free market. There were very few companies that were allowed to operate within Nazi Germany, and those that were usually had a party member in a high-ranking spot in the company that monitored everything. So basically, you were owned by. I mean, it was a. People are going to sit there and go, it was a fascist regime. It was a communist regime. I mean, oh, they called themselves the Socialist Workers' Party, but that doesn't mean they were. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. North Korea calls themselves the what is it, the National Social. Well, it doesn't mean they're so. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It means that. That's exactly what it means. They called themselves that because they are that. I'm sorry, you're not different. Well, real socialism's never been tried. Yeah, okay, you gonna keep just saying that? Like you're real. I just had this discussion with somebody where it was like he was bitching. He's an anti-capitalist. He was whining about capitalism and how it's I'm not going to go into the whole story because it gives too many details and, I don't want to pinpoint anybody, but I'm going to finish with this story because it is an interesting story. And I use this example on a lot of people who are like pro-communist, socialist weirdos and just against capitalism. But it was like capitalism is what was holding him down because he has a degree. He has like a master's degree and it's in, like math, branch. But it's of course capitalism that's holding him back. Not the fact that instead of days where he'd could be out looking for a job, filling out resumes, doing things, getting himself more known and connected, or maybe doing work somewhere else pro bono to get somewhere, he'd rather sit at home and play Mario and smoke weed. And he does have a job and he makes decent money, but it's not what, of course, what he'd want to do. But if we weren't a capitalist society, for some reason, he'd be in a better position. And I looked at him and I said, okay, what do you think would happen? What kind of job do you think you would have if we were not capitalist, but we were communist? And he had told me, well, I'm a skilled, I have a skilled trade, and I'd be doing what I do. I could be doing what I do now. I'd be teaching. Well, to me, that already threw me off because I was like, but you're already doing that, so what's the difference? But he thinks that somehow he would just automatically, because he has a degree, be adopted into whatever his degree had him in, and he'd be way better off and making more money. And I looked at him and said, no, we don't need that. We don't need any more of those. For right now, I need you to go in that field and dig holes because we need holes dug. And I'm going to put you on a list, and if an opening comes up, we may let you know. If, of course, none of our friends or family or connections and things like that don't need any favors first. And of course, he did not like that answer. And my example all of a sudden turned into I was straw manning him somehow. I don't know. I think people really just grabbed onto these terms like straw manning, and red herring, and blah blah blah. And these are easy terms to try and use against somebody because they can kind of almost encompass a lot of things, and you can just sort of shimmy them into anything to make it seem like that's what you did. But I was trying to explain to him that's not what was happening. And then he tried to explain that it was straw manning because I attacked him, which I don't see how I attacked him because I simply just asked him a question. He gave me an answer, and then I gave him a response. And that's how things usually work. But he seems to think that if society weren't capitalist, for some reason, anybody who just goes to school for what they want would be doing that. And that's not how it works anywhere else in the world that's not capitalist. Everybody who ends up going to medical school doesn't always end up being a doctor. Everybody who, you have to find things that have their openings. And then at the same time, you also have to be willing to move around. One of the things I've told him is maybe you have to look out of state and go somewhere else for a while, build up some experience, and then come back. But he doesn't want to do that either. So it's just always something else's fault. But what people don't understand too with capitalism is the one option you have that it's a free market. So you don't, like if you don't like something, you don't have to use it. You don't have to buy it. But people become so addicted to brands and things. It's the same reason why, like I was just talking about my site, but people won't leave things like Twitter because it's what they know. It's the Band-Aid. It's Band-Aid of the internet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go use store brand. I want name brand stuff. And you're doing it to yourself, but you do have the ability to not do that because it's a free market. So like I tell people, I don't have Prime anymore. I don't need it. I realized half the stuff that I was buying, if I bought something that was over $25, it came in free anyway. So, and Prime Video stinks. I mean, The Boys is good, but I can see that elsewhere, if you know what I mean. Those who know what I mean know what I mean. So, you tell all these anti-capitalists, do you have Amazon Prime? Well, would you cancel your Amazon Prime? They wouldn't cancel their Amazon Prime. So, anyway, I'm just going to go off with that. I think I went a lot longer than I planned on anyway. And if I keep doing this myself, I'll definitely be a little bit more prepared next time. And I'm really sorry to William Hand. I wish that I had saw that comment because it would have probably been a good conversation. Next time, buddy. Look for me tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be on with a couple of buddies in a different location, and we'll have a lot more